peoples, what's up? My name is Jason and I'm from the Shelf Stories YouTube channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. Today, I'm going to review one of my favorite little games of the last couple of years, Hero Realms. Hero Realms is a deck builder, competitive, great for one-on-one play. This is the re-theme of Star Realms, but I think it has its own flavor, its own little mechanical wrinkles there to kind of make it stand apart. And I have been loving Hero Realms ever since it came out. So I was really excited when it released the first big expansion, which is the Ruin of Thandar. It added competitive, cooperative play, which you know I'm a big fan of, and also an ongoing 3-chapter campaign, which was really fun. So I'm going to show you Hero Realms, I'm going to show you the Ruin of Thandar, and also very, very quickly, just to kind of put the whole scene together, I'm going to show you the Lost Village, which is the second big expansion for this system for Hero Realms. Continues the story, continues to add more cooperative elements. I'm also going to talk about the character packs, which are separate. I'm going to talk about the ancestry packs, which are also separate. I am hoping that this video will give you a full picture of what's going on in the Hero Realms universe right now and let you know if it's worth picking up. So let's go to the videotape. All right, so I am going to first show you a very, very basic turn of Hero Realms just right out of the box. I'm using the character pack. I don't think I still have the basic cards anymore, but that's what you start with in terms of your hit points. It just indicates 48 hit points right there. I'm going to move over and look at my deck, and then I'm going to pick up my hand of cards, and I'm going to show you the very, very basic cards. You see some gold and attack over here. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pay to pick up a card to market. There I go. I am looking at a red card. Hopefully I can combo that with another red card. Go ahead and refill the market. And then I'm going to take my attack card. And then I'm going to go pew, 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 pew. Lasers right there. So that does some damage to the enemy. And then I'm going to take the rest of my turn by discarding everything. And then I'll be passing turn and waiting for the next one. Very, very basic Hero Realms turn. All right, so before I even get to the Ruin of Thandar, I'm going to show you the character pack. I have chosen to pick the Wizard. I could have picked the Cleric or the Warrior or something like that, but I'm going to go with Wizard over here. As you can see, I got the health tracker. You can see the female side and then the male side. Yeah, you go. Good on you for representation. And then you add some other cards. So I got the cards that you add inside of the deck. Oh, look at that kitty. Meow. And those go inside the deck and they replace some cards and they kind of give your personal deck a little bit of flavor. Now we get onto the abilities. This one is one that you could use every single turn. You pay 2 gold, you tap it, and in this particular case, I lose a health and draw a card. Always on, a particularity of the wizard, and I'm going to have a one-time effect, which is a fireball. You can't have a wizard without a fireball, right? Trash the card and then do some damage. So then that is a character pack or a demonstration thereof. Now I'm going to get into the Ruins of Thandar, what that added. There you go. And I have lots more cards. That is items that I'm going to be adding to my deck as I go along. These are skills upgrades. I'm not sure if you could see with the camera. Not really sure why my camera is underperforming with this, but you can see the 1, 2, 3 up on top over there. I'm going to be leveling up my skill, and then I have my one-shot ability, and I have many more cards for that too. I can do more damage. I can spread my damage out. I can do more damage to a single target. I got all sorts of ways in which I can customize my character. That is a demonstration of character progression in Hero Realms, the Ruin of Thandar. All right, so I don't want to spoil too much, but I did want to show you an example of mechanism for the boss side. So there he goes. There's the boss right there. That is the Laughing Shadow, one of the potential bosses that you can encounter. And what he is going to do is on his turn, he's going to draw a card. And he is going to consult the top symbol, the color of the symbol, which is blue. So then you look on the boss card, there'll be one of 4 options, and that particular one is cast 3 shadows. So every boss is different, but in this particular case, what he's going to do is, and I love the multi-use card aspect of it, he's going to take cards from the market deck, and as you can see, I'm putting them under the market cards, and now he's going to charge up a big attack if I let that sit there too much. So on a future turn, on my turn, what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to buy a card, and that will get rid of one of the shadows on a future turn. The boss is going to point to his deck. He's going to refill, and it's just going to go back and forth, as an example of how combat could work during a Hero Realms Ruins of Thandar campaign. All right, so more expansion content past the Ruin of Thandar. The first thing we're going to look at is the Ancestry pack right here. This is a small folk. You know, we can't say that H word unless we want royalties. This particular card will adjust our starting hit points. And I also get cards to put into my deck. You go ahead, see 2 cards right there, and I get another skill. So this is another way to differentiate my deck. I am now a halfling wizard. I can be orc, ogre, that kind of thing. In the Lost Village, I'm also going to run into suits of armor. That a particular thing, if you see the number next to my thumb, if you have more health than that number, then you could use another skill. Look at that. I have four things I have to keep track of. And then more, the last thing that the game adds, and this is a separate pack again, quests. These are alternate victory conditions in case you don't feel like or you want to do a different puzzle than beating the boss. You can, I'm looking at it over there, play a couple of actions in your turn. Once you complete your quest, you get access to a special treasure, which is another set of cards. You can go right there. I'm going to go ahead and put those cards down. Look at all this stuff. Look how complicated your hero can get. Really different from the base game, isn't it? All right, so I've laid out a very simple example of a fight in Hero Realms, the Lost Village. So I'm not going to show you the whole thing. I just want to show you one part. So there's my character right there, and that is the boss. One of the bosses anyway. And I want to kind of show you something. I hope that the camera can handle this. So let's go ahead and pick that up, that card right there. If you notice, and I'm going to compare it to a boss in the Ruin of Thandar. So in Ruin of Thandar, you see you have the 4 colors and it keys off the deck, and you kind of like follow the directions there. Here, I have an extra line of text. I'm sorry about the camera work, but I'm trying to show you an extra line of text in the new boss. That is something I have to keep track of all the time whenever it activates. For this boss, the old one, I don't have that bar, you see? Like I just have more art in the colors. Here, I have a little bit more to keep track of. It's a little bit more complicated. And not only that, not too many spoilers here, but I'm going to lay out more. There is, everybody, you get a boss, you get a boss, you get a boss. And every single person who has a boss in front of them, whenever they trigger, have to have that bar and have to keep track of a little bit more of a complicated time of things. So you are going to get a stepped up experience of competitiveness, of tactical play. Let's go back up to full screen and see what I think of how everything integrates and whether you should go in whole hog for Hero Realms, Lost Village, and Ruin of Thandar. All right. So now we are back, and I'm going to tell you my thoughts of Hero Realms. I hope you enjoyed that playthrough of all 3 of these guys, and as long as they continue to release packs, I'm going to acquire them and make content for them. Spoiler alert, I think this is really, really fun. I like what they've added. But anyway, so I like to review games in terms of a breakdown of their thematic headspace and their strategic headspace. So I'm very interested in just kind of where the game takes you mentally, and I'll start with the theme first. So it's generic fantasy. There's nothing really exciting here in terms of the writing, in terms of the plotting. You could kind of see things coming. It's basically like going to D&D encounters. I'm not really sure if they run encounters, but if you go to a local game store, just drop it on any D&D table. Ye old run-of-the-mill DM is going to run you through guarding caravans or, going to a local cave and, exterminating the bats. And oh my God, there's a vampire there. I mean, the story there is maybe a little bit flat and disappointing, but maybe that's on purpose to get people started and get people into it. So, it works. It's enjoyable. I like that. Where the theme really comes in is actually the character packs. The character packs are wonderful. They're beginning packs, and eventually, it's a deck builder. You're going to bring in cards into your deck that kind of, they're just kind of based on what you buy, but it does a really good job of starting you off, so the cleric, their thing is lots of champions, the cards that stay out from turn to turn rather than actions. If you want more of an action-oriented one shot, then you play a wizard. And they have cards in the deck that key off of Every character has cards like that. If you want to play a fighter, you get beefy, and the more fight and combat that you play, the more effective your base cards are. Even as you're culling out those basic cards, you want to keep around some of those key cards because they build upon the cards, the market cards that you get, your improved deck. That's awesome. I think of like the Leaders and Seven Wonders. I think of, any game that kind of gives you a nudge in order to be able to get started, in building your deck. And you don't have to listen to it. Let's say the game just, goes a certain way and you have to go completely against what you want your character to be because of the market deck. Well, then you can do that too and win. But it's just nice to be able to imagine, I'm a dork. I really get into this stuff. I imagine that I'm a wizard, I'm, casting spells and a cleric with my band of followers. I love when I could be the cleric and I can surround myself in 4, 5, 6, 8 champions on a turn. I think that's really fun and really imaginative. Obviously that bleeds into the strategic stuff, but on an imaginative thematic level, which is where this game is going to grab a lot of casual gamers, family members that might want to play. I think that's excellent. I love the character packs in particular. I showed you the racial packs. I think they're called the Ancestry packs. You have the small folk and the orc and the halfling. They're okay. I wouldn't say they're necessary. I like them because they don't add too much. One thing that they do in terms of what the Hero Realm system does is whenever they add a card, it gives you the ability usually either to kind of like immediately cull it or it lets you draw a card. Like it keeps things moving. There's not a lot of bloat there. So when you have that deck bloat, and I know a couple of deck builders in particular that struggle to handle deck bloat, this one here, it keeps things streamlined and therefore going, and it keeps my mind free to imagine that I'm, doing the things that I'm doing as a wizard or a cleric, all that kind of stuff. So the Ancestry pack, it's a nice bonus. It doesn't add it has a little bit of flavor, a little bit of spice, but do you need them? No, you absolutely need the character packs. The Ancestry packs are just a nice bonus, at least in terms of the thematics and imagining what's going on. All right, so let's get to strategy. That's what you guys are here for, right? How does this game hold up strategically moving on into the later expansions? So Hero Realms is never going to be like a truly strategic game. There's two types of deck builders. One where the deck is the market is static, and one where the market is a river, it's moving. So you look at a game like Aeon's End or Dominion for your static market, and I think those games are going to trump you every time in terms of the strategy, long-term planning. I can foresee a turn, 3, 4, 5 turns out. You're going to definitely get that in the static market deck. I don't think, no matter what they add to Hero Realms, they could add 7, 10 expansions. It'll never be that strategic experience. So if you're looking for that, then, might want to move on to another product. So, but in this particular case, the tactics definitely amp up because you have all those buttons that you can push in front of you. Like I showed you that picture where eventually at the end of the Lost Village, your last battle, you're going to have 4 different buttons. I keep on calling them buttons, but cards and powers that you can use, and you have to kind of pick your spots with them. And so there's definitely a higher level, but I would call it more tactical, short-term, turn-by-turn thinking, rather than like kind of long-term strategy. And it does get richer and richer and richer. I like the way that they've integrated that. Subtle things by like, okay, you get a new card, it replaces the old card, or you get a new card and you can continue to draw through your deck. Really subtle, a lot of lessons learned in terms of good deck building design. I pointed out on the video that the bosses are more complicated. More complicated. I shouldn't say that. There's more to track. I'll say it that way. There's more to track, and so I struggled with that. I have to admit, I struggled with that a little bit. And I'm like a veteran Sentinels and a Multiverse player and Aeons and all these kind of cooperative card games where there's stuff going on all over the place. And I guess maybe because the Hero Realm system is so small, I wonder how much complication that it can bear. I'm kind of hesitant to look at, future expansion. I know I said I'm going to buy them, and I'm definitely going to, but I'm worried that I'm hoping that the complication doesn't like buckle under the chassis, the very simple chassis of a Hero Realms. I think it's okay now. I just wanted to kind of point out that there is that extra line of text on pretty much every boss you're going to encounter that fires off every turn that you have to keep in mind. And that might not be fun for you. If you can track it though, and if you can kind of keep that in mind, then it actually is, the bosses are definitely a step up in challenge. At the end of the day, it's a step up in challenge. It's a step up in that kind of turn-by-turn puzzle. Speaking of turn-by-turn puzzle, that's what you're going to get with the quests. I'm more of an imaginative gamer. I don't love the quests. There's a lot of games that do that. I think in terms of like, race and roll for the galaxy, where you get those the goals. And they're just kind of like, okay, alter your play style a little bit, play this way instead of that way, acquire a green card instead of 2 blue cards, and you'll get a bonus. You'll be able to kind of win on the side that way. That is not for me, but if you are a person that wants more of a different experience, a different puzzle from game to game, then why not? Those might be cards, the quests and the treasures, the artifacts, I think they're called. You can add that in, but those are completely, kind of skippable if you are not looking for a different puzzle experience. If you just want that kind of core Hero Realms play. So at the end of the day, I'm definitely going to recommend the character packs and both story expansions, the Rune of Thandar and the Lost Village. I'm going to give check them out depending on what you are looking for to the Ancestry packs and the Quest packs. But for the most part, I am really, really digging Hero Realms. You're going to be a part of my collection for a very, very long time. Yeah. 8 out of 10 for me, pushing 8.5 or 9. I guess why isn't it a 9 or a 10? Well, I mean, Aeon Zen's a bigger game, and there's some other games that are, I guess, on the bigger, more richer, complicated side. But in terms of a really short, really simple engine that packs a lot of punch and increasing punches with every expansion, you can't go wrong with Hero Realms and all the stuff that's available for it. All right. And my name is Jason. I'm reminding you, if you can change your mind, you can change the world. And I'll see you next time. Later, everybody.